Imagine this. You're performing to a group of people and you're nailing every single prediction, every single guess, every single trick. You're basically a mind-reading superhero at this point. And then bam! You decide to get a trick wrong on purpose. It sounds crazy, right? Hello everyone, my name is Chase and I am a mentalist magician. And stick around because in today's video, I'm going to be telling you why messing up your tricks is possibly the smartest decision any mentalist or magician can make when performing. As mentalists or as magicians, people are already expecting that we're using gimmicks or tricks. And let's face it, they're right. It's not supernatural, it's a skill. We use suggestion, observation, psychology, and a lot of practice. And I mean a lot of practice. But here's the thing. If you're too perfect, people are going to start to think it's rigged or that person's in on it. And they'll start looking for the ways it's set up. Or they're looking for that stooge. When in reality, you might be using them, but you might also not be. Now, when you intentionally mess up a trick, that humanizes you. It shows you're not relying on a perfectly staged act or a gimmick. It shows you're relying on a skill. And sometimes skills aren't flawless. And in fact, they're better. Think about it. If you get everything correct and everything right, people are going to start to think that it's all prearranged. But if you decide to get some tricks wrong on purpose, then they have no excuse. And they think what you're actually performing is real and it's a skill. It tells your audience that you are taking a genuine risk. And that's what makes your audience empathize with you. Most magicians, most mentalists, most performers in general assume that people are hoping that you're going to get it wrong so they can laugh at you. When in fact, people are willing for you to do something really well. They want you to do really well. And they don't want you to mess up. They want to be entertained after all. So when I've gone out and performed and I've got things wrong on purpose or not on purpose, they usually take it really nicely. Most of the time. Probably like 9.5 out of 10 people are usually okay with it. And you know, if you start getting things wrong and then you carry on performing, that's what makes you human. And then people want to carry on hoping that you're going to do well. And it makes it look more real. It's like ticking all the boxes. In fact, the occasional mistake makes your tricks even more impactful because they know it's not guaranteed that it will work every time. And you know, let's be honest, life isn't perfect. So if you make a couple of mistakes or a couple of hiccups every so often, it makes your performances look more authentic. It lets people see that what you're doing is not some slick, well choreographed routine and that what you're doing can go wrong. And you're putting yourself out on the line to make sure that they have a good time. And what you're doing could go wrong if they do it wrong, which in hindsight kind of makes them try harder and make sure the trick goes well. Let me give you an example. A couple of weeks ago, I was performing for an event that I was hired for. So it's my usual gig that I do, and I was doing one of my favourite ever tricks, the one that I take everywhere with me as my EDC and also to my gigs because it gets the best reactions that I possibly get. And I've definitely shown it on the channel. It's my dice trick. I've shown it on the channel and I've discussed it. And yeah, anyway, it's my dice trick where I always know what number the dice is rolled on. And you can use this for many different reasons. You can do it as a prediction. You can do it as reading someone's mind, or you can do it as a force. I often use it as a force. But anywho, I digress. I was performing this trick and it was about 10 different people around this table. So I was performing to a group of 10. And I was doing the trick and they were like, oh, that's really cool. Do it again, as they usually do. Because obviously I'm getting the number right every single time without even looking. And it gets to a point where I even say, now I don't want you to look at it. So it's not like I'm reading your mind, I'm just doing pure guesswork here. and then I get it right again. So for some reason they was like, okay, you try it, and then it went all the way around the table. So I had to do it 10 times. And I was nailing it, and the reactions were getting better and better. And then around the 7th or 8th person, I can't remember now, 7th or 8th person, I decided to get it wrong. And you're probably thinking, mate, you're on a roll, why are you getting it wrong? Well, essentially, that made it look a little bit more realistic, that it was just guesswork, and it's not 100% of the time. I got it 9 out of 10 times correct, because after that I carried on getting it right. And then I went on to do some more tricks like I did tricks before it. But it was just that little moment there that made them think, okay, it's not a trick dice. He's not reading me. He's not, there's no fakeness in this. He got it wrong. And, I knew what that number was on that 7th or 8th person. I knew it was, but I misread it. I said it wrong on purpose, just so it looked like it was more natural and more believable. If you're finding this video useful so far, why don't you like it? That way I can know that you are enjoying this video, and that way I can make more of the content that you want me to do. And while you're there, why don't you subscribe to the channel? That way you don't miss any of my videos, and you can, watch back all my other videos that are similar to this one. Anyway, back to the video that you clicked on. Now, a lot of mentalists and magicians do this trick where the trick seems to go wrong, and then it carries on going and carries on going, and then it's revealed that it all went perfectly as it should be. We've all been there, we've all done it, and in fact, I still do those sort of tricks. But what I am talking about in this video is that you need to do a trick that has mistakes, that has no payoff at the end. And that can be really daunting to do straight away, purposely doing a trick that you know is going to go wrong and you have no backup. What I find is that if you have that payoff, then what's the point in messing up the trick in the first place? It doesn't make you look more human. It makes you look like some absolute mastermind and genius, and that you have no worries about this trick working. It's all part of the plan. And my show Show and Tell, I had that. I made people make random decisions, and in the very end I showed that it was all predicted. That was the real kicker at the end. But looking back at it, what was the point? I mean, don't get me wrong, that was all conscious choices that they made. But when you're talking about mistakes, what's the point in making that one mistake when it's I just don't understand it. And I know I still perform it sometimes, like I say, but really, when you actually dissect the trick, why are you messing up? Just to make it look like it was all part of the plan in the first place. And I'm not telling you how to go out and perform. By all means, go out and perform those sort of tricks, but also go out and perform these tricks knowing that you're going to get something wrong and have no backup. In fact, do those tricks where they mess up, and then don't do that extra reveal at the end where it was all part of the plan. Just make it, if you're worried about doing it, and then you go out and perform one of those tricks and you're like, okay, this isn't the right audience, maybe they are that 0.5% out of 10, that's maybe what you need to do, just to ease yourself into it. And the more confident you get at making those mistakes, then you can just go out and do a card trick and purposely flash or drop cards, or go, is your star sign a Capricorn? And then they're like, no, it's Aquarius. And you're like, well, can't get it right every time. So yeah, not only does it make you look more real, but it also gives you that confidence to go out and get things wrong, even if you're not intentionally getting those tricks wrong. And you want to get some tricks right. But what happens if you're getting a trick right and it goes wrong, like you drop the cards accidentally? Then you're still confident about it all. And sometimes you might even get a trick wrong on purpose that leads to the biggest reaction you'll ever get. At the same event that happened with that dice trick, funny enough, a couple of weeks ago, I possibly had the best trick I will ever perform, and will probably never perform ever again, because it went so well and the reaction was just so great. And it all came from me purposely making a mistake. So let me give you a bit of context. What happened was, at this event there was a raffle going around, and I was performing to the tables as the raffles were being called out. And I jokingly said to the people I was performing to, who had tickets, who were listening out and also paying attention to my magic, they were also listening out, I jokingly said, your tickets here, whatever the numbers were, the ones that are holding, your tickets here are going to be the next ones that are going to be read out. And, you know, I've got a 1 in a million, 1,000, whatever, however many tickets there are, I assume. I've got 1 in that many amount. It's impossible for me to know that that number is the next one to be called out. And the reason why I said it was going to be like a joke. So I was performing tricks to them and I was doing really, really well. This was a different group to the dice people, by the way. I was performing to a different group, I was doing really, really well. And I was going to go, this next ticket is going to be the one that gets called out. And obviously the next one that gets called out wasn't going to be that number, and I was going to play it off as well, you see, I'm not that good, you know. Imagine if I was, I'd win the lottery every time, right? Something stupid like that. But, and I'm not joking when I say this, and my reaction was as big as everybody else's when this happened. So I did it, and I said, the number you've got is the next number that's going to get called out. And they're like, yeah, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, in my head. And it gets called out. The number that I said, the one that they were holding, gets called out, and they win whatever the raffle was at that point. And everybody who listened around that table reacted. And then everybody looked over and they reacted. And I reacted because I didn't expect it to go right. It was a pure miracle. And it was all based off of the fact that I wanted to get it wrong and have a little joke about it. But without me doing that joke, that would never have happened. And I'm probably never going to do that trick again when it comes to a raffle. I'm probably going to do something similar, but if I'm at an event and there's a raffle, I'm probably never doing that trick ever again. Like I say, if you allow yourself to be open to messing up tricks, you can have the most amazing reactions and the most amazing stories that you wouldn't be able to do if you just stuck to a routine and you got every single trick right. If you enjoyed this video and you want some more insights on magic theory, magic tutorials and performances, hit subscribe. That way you won't miss any of my videos. You can also follow me over on Instagram and TikTok to keep up to date with everything that I'm doing. I even have a membership called the Chased Membership where I do behind the scenes videos. And this week we've been a little bit busy over there because I've just posted the video that's coming out next week, which is a little passion project of mine that I've been currently working on, and the BTS to that. So all the things that I've put into it, my little passion project and how it was made, that'll be coming out next week. And whew, I'm not just saying this so you subscribe and like, but you don't want to miss it. You really, really don't want to miss it. Anywho, thank you all so much for watching and getting this far in this video. That is the end, and I shall see you in that special video. Is it even a video? Maybe I've said a bit too much. See you later.